Why the wisest stay silent and calm. In a world that celebrates loudness, quick reactions, and constant opinions, silence appears paradoxical. Why would the wisest among us, those with the deepest insights and profound wisdom, choose to stay silent in a noisy, reactive world? This question has puzzled minds for centuries, from Schopenhauer's philosophy to Buddhist teachings, and the answer lies in understanding the paradox of silence. Silence is not the absence of action. It's a deliberate choice, a shield of inner strength, and a profound expression of wisdom. The wisest stay silent not because they lack words, but because they understand their power. They know that in restraint lies clarity, in stillness lies understanding, and in calm lies influence. Silence is not weakness, it's the ultimate strength. This video uncovers why silence is more than just a pause. It's a tool for navigating stress, overcoming inner conflict, and cultivating deep focus. Drawing from Schopenhauer's philosophy and Buddhist principles, we explore how silence transforms noise into wisdom and chaos into peace. By the end, you'll discover that silence isn't a void, but a presence, a path to freedom, self-awareness, and influence in an often chaotic world. Stay with me. At the end, there is a profound bonus lesson that could change the way you navigate life forever. If you take one thing away, let it be this: silence is the path to wisdom, peace, and power. That's all you need to know in life. Lesson 1. Silence as a fortress. Protect your inner peace. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a raging storm. The winds howl, the rain lashes against you, and the chaos threatens to engulf you. Yet, there is a mountain nearby, unmoved, solid, and serene despite the turbulence. That mountain represents silence, a fortress that shields you from the chaos of the world. Schopenhauer believed silence was not a passive act, but an intentional choice, a tool of the wise to protect their inner peace. In today's world, noise comes in many forms: endless notifications, unsolicited opinions, and the ceaseless demands of modern life. When we try to respond to every sound, every question, every provocation, we deplete ourselves, leaving little room for clarity or calm. Choosing silence does not mean surrendering. Instead, it is the ultimate act of self-control. As the Buddhist principle teaches, speak only if it improves upon silence. The fewer words you expend, the more energy and power you conserve. Silence creates a boundary, a safe space where external chaos cannot reach your core. It allows you to guard your vulnerabilities, shielding your emotions and thoughts from those who might misuse them. In this guarded stillness, your mind has the freedom to reflect, to breathe, and to grow stronger. Schopenhauer beautifully encapsulates this wisdom. The less you reveal, the more control you retain. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. How often do you engage in conversations or arguments that drain you? How many times have you spoken only to regret the words later? Silence is not a sign of weakness. It is a shield, a deliberate act of autonomy. The wise understand that not every comment deserves a response, not every opinion demands rebuttal, and not every invitation to chaos must be accepted. Imagine walking into a noisy room. There's chatter, laughter, and chaos. In one corner, someone sits quietly, observing, unperturbed by the noise. That person has mastered the art of silence. They are not detached, they are centered. This practice aligns with Buddhist teachings, emphasizing that silence is not merely the absence of noise, but the presence of awareness. When you embrace silence as a fortress, you become like that mountain amidst the storm. While the winds may try to sway you and the rain may try to break you, you remain unmoved. Silence becomes your strength, your shield, your sanctuary. And through it, you reclaim what so many lose in the noise of life: your peace, your clarity, your power. What if you chose silence as your fortress? How much calmer, stronger, and more in control would your life be? 2. The mirror of stillness. Reflection leads to truth. Picture a calm, clear lake on a windless day. Its surface reflects the sky so perfectly that you can see the clouds, the birds, and even the stars at night. But when the wind stirs the water, the reflections become distorted and clarity is lost. The lake is your mind, and silence is the stillness that allows truth to emerge. Schopenhauer taught that silence is not the absence of action, but the presence of reflection. It is in stillness that we begin to see life as it truly is, not as it appears amidst the noise. Buddhist philosophy echoes this wisdom, urging us to sit quietly and observe our thoughts without judgment. Silence creates a sacred space for listening, not just to others, but to the whisper of your own soul. In the chaos of daily life, our minds are like turbulent waters, constantly reacting to external stimuli, emails, deadlines, arguments, and endless distractions. But have you ever noticed how impulsive reactions often lead to regret? How hastily spoken words create unnecessary conflict? Silence provides a pause, a moment to step back and observe rather than act. As the old Zen saying goes, silence is a true friend who never betrays. Consider this. How many times have you spoken without truly understanding your own feelings? How often do we rush into arguments, not to seek truth, but to declare victory? The wise understand that not every thought requires expression, nor does every disagreement demand resolution. In stillness, you gain the clarity to discern what matters and let go of what doesn't. Imagine yourself in a heated conversation. The other person raises their voice, their words sharp and urgent. The instinct is to respond, to defend, to counterattack. But what if you didn't? What if you chose silence instead, allowing the storm to pass? In the quiet, you would see not only their emotions, but your own, reflected back at you like that still lake. And in this reflection, you might find understanding, compassion, and the wisdom to choose your next step wisely. Silence is not a void, it is a mirror. It reflects the patterns and truths that the noise conceals. Like a monk meditating by a quiet stream, the practice of silence allows you to witness your inner world without judgment. Through this, you begin to see yourself and others with greater clarity. What if you let your mind become like that still lake? How much clearer would your life be if you embraced silence as a space for reflection rather than reaction? 3. Mastery through restraint. Silence is influence. Picture a dark room where a single candle burns. Its light is not blinding, yet it draws everyone toward it, holding their attention with its subtle warmth. That candle represents the quiet power of silence. Schopenhauer understood that the one who speaks less often holds the balance of power. For silence is not the absence of influence, it is its most refined form. In a noisy world, where everyone competes to be heard, silence becomes an anomaly, an enigma that demands attention. The wise understand that speaking sparingly not only preserves energy, but creates a space where others feel compelled to fill the void. This is not manipulation, but mastery through restraint, a lesson mirrored in Buddhist teachings. By speaking less, you shift focus inward, both for yourself and for others, encouraging reflection and deeper understanding. Think about your own interactions. In a heated argument, the loudest voice often dominates the room, but it is rarely the one that commands respect. The calm, quiet individual who listens, observes, and chooses their words with care often has the most profound impact. Silence, in this context, is not passive but active, a deliberate choice to influence without overwhelming. In professional settings, this principle becomes even more relevant. A leader who speaks incessantly risks being ignored, their words lost in the flood. But a leader who listens, who pauses, who speaks only when necessary, creates a presence that is felt deeply. Their silence compels others to think, to reflect, and to value the moments when they do speak. As Schopenhauer noted, silence turns focus inward, forcing reflection. Imagine standing in a room filled with chatter. One person remains quiet, their posture calm, their demeanor steady. Over time, the noise around them fades, and people start to notice their presence. They wonder what this quiet individual knows that others do not. They lean closer, drawn to the quiet confidence that radiates from restraint. Like the candle in the dark, their influence is subtle yet profound, guiding others without a single word. In personal relationships, silence holds a different kind of power. It allows for understanding and de-escalation. When faced with conflict, responding with silence rather than impulsive words creates a space for emotions to settle. It invites the other person to reflect, to speak with greater care, and ultimately to move toward resolution. Silence is not just the absence of noise. It is a tool for influence, a force that shapes the world in subtle yet significant ways. What if you embraced silence as your strength? How much more could you accomplish by saying less and meaning more? Understand this Buddha's lesson on keeping calm. There's a well-known story where a man approached Buddha only to throw insults at him. But instead of reacting angrily, Buddha stayed peaceful and posed a question. If someone offers you a gift and you don't accept it, who does it belong to? The man replied, "It stays with the giver." Just like that, Buddha explained, he chose not to accept the insults, so they remained with the man. This simple story holds a powerful lesson on controlling our emotions and not reacting impulsively to negativity. Let's continue. 4. The stillness within, silence as self-discovery. Imagine a diver descending into the depths of the ocean. At the surface, waves crash, currents churn, and chaos reigns. But as they venture deeper, the water grows calm, the noise disappears, and a vast, tranquil world emerges, rich with treasures unseen from above. This is the journey of silence, descending beneath the noise of the world to discover the treasures of self-awareness and truth. Schopenhauer believed that silence was not merely the absence of words, but a profound pathway to self-discovery. Buddhism reinforces this wisdom, teaching that intentional silence strips away distractions, allowing us to hear the quiet voice within, the one often drowned out by the demands and noise of daily life. In silence, the truths we have been avoiding rise to the surface, guiding us toward clarity and purpose. In the modern world, we are surrounded by overstimulation, notifications, endless chatter, and an ever-present pressure to perform. This constant noise drowns out our ability to connect with ourselves. We lose sight of who we are beneath the roles we play and the masks we wear. Silence offers an antidote. It is not just a retreat, it is a return to our essence, our intuition, our deepest truths. Consider this. How often do you sit in complete silence, without music, without scrolling, without distraction? For many, the thought is uncomfortable, even unnerving. Yet, it is in this stillness that we begin to understand ourselves. Silence is like a mirror, reflecting back the thoughts, fears, and desires that we usually ignore. By facing these reflections, we gain insight into our strengths and vulnerabilities, our dreams and doubts. Buddhist monks often describe silence as the teacher within. Through meditation, they seek not answers from the outside world, but wisdom from the stillness inside. When the noise fades, intuition awakens. This is the gift of silence. It allows us to stop reacting to life and start understanding it. Imagine walking into a forest at dawn. The world is quiet, the air still, and in that moment, you feel deeply connected to nature, to yourself, to something greater. This is the power of silence. It reconnects you to what truly matters, stripping away the superficial to reveal the profound. In silence, the world's noise fades, and your true voice emerges. This voice is not the one that argues or defends. It is the voice of your soul, guiding you toward what is real and meaningful. What treasures could you uncover if you embraced silence as a daily practice? How much more of yourself would you find beneath the surface? 5. The discipline of restraint. Picture an archer standing still, bowstring pulled taut, eyes fixed on the target. The tension is deliberate, the silence between movement and release filled with purpose. This is the discipline of restraint, a pause that holds infinite potential. In the same way, silence grants you the ability to act with intention rather than react impulsively, transforming moments of conflict into opportunities for wisdom. Schopenhauer believed silence to be an act of power, not passivity. He saw restraint as a virtue, a discipline that strengthens the mind and elevates decision-making. Buddhist philosophy mirrors this, emphasizing mindfulness, the art of pausing before action. Silence becomes a practice of emotional discipline, where each pause creates space for understanding and clarity. Think about the last time you faced a heated moment, a harsh word spoken to you, a provocation that begged for retaliation. How easy it is to respond immediately, driven by emotion, only to regret it later. Silence in these moments becomes your ally. It allows you to absorb the situation, to reflect, and to choose a response that aligns with your values rather than your impulses. In the modern world, where instant reactions are glorified and patience is often undervalued, this practice feels revolutionary. Social media, workplace pressure, and even personal relationships tempt us to speak before we think. Yet, how often does this lead to misunderstanding or conflict? By embracing silence, you cultivate a discipline that protects you from these pitfalls, granting you the clarity to navigate life with purpose. Imagine yourself in a tense conversation. Someone hurls accusations, their voice rising. The instinct is to respond, to defend, to fight back. But instead, you choose silence. You take a breath, observing their words, their emotions, and your own. This pause shifts the dynamic. It disarms anger, creates room for reflection, and allows you to respond, not with heat, but with wisdom. This is the essence of emotional discipline, using silence as a tool to break the cycle of reactivity. It is not about suppression, but transformation, converting the raw energy of emotion into something purposeful and constructive. Just as the archer's restraint channels power into precision, silence channels emotion into clarity. Silence is the choice to act, not react. In that choice lies freedom, freedom from regret, from unnecessary conflict, from actions that do not serve your greater purpose. How different would your life be if you paused before every reaction? What if you mastered the art of silence as a tool for intentional, meaningful action? 6. The echo of silence. Imagine a bell that rings without sound, its vibrations spreading invisibly, felt rather than heard. This is the power of silence. While words are fleeting, silence lingers in the mind, creating a space where meaning deepens and reflection begins. Schopenhauer recognized this profound truth. Silence leaves an impact that outlasts the noise of speech. In Buddhism, this concept is mirrored in the idea of emptiness, not as absence but as potential, a fertile ground for growth and understanding. In a world where everyone fights to speak the loudest, silence becomes a powerful counterpoint. It commands attention without demanding it, leaving others to wonder, to reflect, to question. Consider a heated debate where one person chooses not to respond immediately. Their silence becomes the loudest voice in the room. It creates an undeniable presence, urging others to reconsider their own words and actions. This echo of silence is not just about withholding speech. It is about creating a deliberate void where deeper truths can emerge. In relationships, for instance, silence in moments of misunderstanding can diffuse tension better than words ever could. It gives both sides the time to process, to reflect, and to approach the situation with a clearer perspective. What is left unsaid often speaks louder than what is said. In our modern lives, silence is a rare commodity. We are conditioned to fill every moment with chatter, every pause with noise. Yet, it is in those pauses that meaning thrives. Think of the silence after a powerful statement, or the quiet that follows a shared moment of understanding. That silence speaks volumes, its echo resonating far beyond the moment itself. Imagine walking through an empty cathedral. The vast space amplifies every footstep, every breath, yet the silence is what moves you. It allows the beauty of the architecture, the history of the space, to envelop you completely. That same dynamic applies to human interactions. When we choose silence, we create a space where others can truly feel the weight of their words and actions. In leadership, this principle becomes even more potent. A leader who speaks sparingly yet intentionally creates an aura of authority and thoughtfulness. Their silence, far from being passive, is a strategic tool that inspires confidence and self-reflection in others. Silence is not a void, but a canvas, a medium through which deeper understanding is cultivated. It leaves an impression not by force, but by allowing others to find their own way to the truth. What if you embraced silence not as absence, but as resonance? How much more could you convey by letting your silence echo longer than your words? Bonus lesson: silence as the key to freedom. Picture yourself standing before a door, ancient and unmarked, its surface weathered but resilient. In your hand, a simple key: silence. As you turn it, the door creaks open, revealing a boundless space of stillness, peace, and clarity. This is the freedom Schopenhauer spoke of, and the liberation found at the heart of Buddhist philosophy. Silence is not merely the absence of noise, it is the quiet key that unlocks the infinite. In the ceaseless cycle of life, desires pulling you in every direction, distractions vying for your attention, emotions dictating your reactions, silence offers an escape. Schopenhauer saw life as a pendulum, swinging between pain and boredom, driven by endless striving. Buddhist teachings echo this, describing the cycle of samsara, the perpetual loop of craving and dissatisfaction. But within this chaos lies the solution: silence. By stepping into stillness, you remove yourself from the pendulum's swing, finding a center where peace resides. Think of a stormy sea, waves crashing with relentless force. Amid this chaos, there's a profound stillness beneath the surface, untouched by the turbulence above. Silence is that stillness. It frees you from being tossed around by the noise of the world and your own restless mind. It allows you to observe without judgment, to understand without interference. In today's overstimulated world, this practice feels almost radical. Notifications demand immediate attention, opinions bombard from every direction, and the pressure to achieve never ceases. Yet, silence liberates you from this constant bombardment. It offers a pause, a chance to reflect and choose actions aligned with your deeper self rather than reactive impulses. Imagine the transformation this brings. In relationships, silence helps you listen more deeply, truly understanding others instead of rushing to respond. In moments of conflict, it gives you the space to choose peace over retaliation. And in the solitude of your own mind, silence reconnects you to who you are beneath the roles, labels, and expectations. Silence is where you find yourself. The chaos of the world loses its grip. This truth is both simple and profound. When you embrace silence, you step into a space where external noise no longer controls you. Desires, fears, and distractions lose their hold, leaving you free to explore the vastness of your inner world. What if the freedom you've been seeking isn't found in achieving more or speaking louder, but in the quiet spaces you've been avoiding? What if, through silence, you could unlock the door to your truest self and step into a life of unparalleled clarity and peace? In the chaotic noise of modern life, silence is a rare and radical act. It's a space where clarity replaces confusion, where calmness overpowers restlessness, and where wisdom transcends impulsive reactions. As Schopenhauer and Buddhist teachings remind us, silence isn't passive, it's purposeful. It's the strength to observe without judgment, to pause instead of react, and to let go of the need to prove ourselves. Silence is not an absence. It's a presence that reshapes how we see ourselves and the world. Think of silence as the ultimate act of self-discovery. When we allow the noise to fade, we hear the subtle truths that are always present but often drowned out. As the Zen saying goes, only in still water does the moon reveal itself. In silence, you'll uncover not only the wisdom you seek, but also the courage to embrace your true self and live with intention. The greatest paradox of silence is that while it seems empty, it is, in fact, full of potential, depth, and connection. Like a silent echo that resonates forever, your silence can create ripples of transformation in your life and in others. By choosing silence, you're not retreating from life, but stepping into its deepest truths. So, take a moment today to embrace silence. Reflect, listen, and let its power guide you toward inner peace and clarity. Speak less, listen more, and in the silence, you will find the answers. If this reflection resonated with you, please like and share this video with others seeking peace and wisdom. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How has silence transformed your life? Don't forget to subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a mindful and peaceful life.